Shalom, friends, and welcome to this week's Midweek Reflection. Today we continue our study on women in the Bible. In 1 Samuel 25, we learn about a woman named Abigail. All that is mentioned about her past was that she was from a place called Carmel. However, the writer deemed it important to mention that she was beautiful and intelligent. A stark contrast to the description of her husband Nabal, which was surly and mean. Now, what's the significance of this often forgotten woman in the Bible? Why are we talking about her today? Well, Abigail's husband Nabal was a very wealthy man, and from the chapter we get to understand that David's men protected Nabal's men as they would be out in the field with their master's flock. David's men were always kind to them. Now it happened that one day David and his men needed food, and so David sent his men to Nabal in his name asking for provisions. Nabal was very unkind. He insulted them and sent them away empty-handed. Upon hearing this, David declared war on Nabal's men and set out to kill them all. One of Nabal's servants, fearing for his life, went to Abigail and informed her of all that was about to happen and begged for her intervention. Abigail, being full of wisdom, said nothing to her husband, got provisions, and set out on a journey to David and his men. Now let's look at 3 significant things Abigail did. 1. The passage tells us that upon seeing David, she quickly got down from her donkey and bowed to him, thus showing penitence on her husband's behalf and great humility. She lessened herself and lifted up David just by that act. 2. She absolved herself from the great injustice meted out to David and his men. She made it known that she was not aware of his and his men's petition initially. This would show David that unlike Nabal, her heart was gentle, that even though she was one with her husband by marriage, unlike him, she had a kind and gentle spirit. 3. She chose her words carefully. She reminded David that Nabal was a fool, as even his very name meant fool. She reminded David that he does not fight for himself, as he is a righteous man who fights the Lord's battles, and so the Lord will fight his, and she is confident he will destroy all his enemies, Nabal included. She reminded David that a great promise was on his life, and when he was finally crowned king, he should not have this blood on his hand, and as such, he should leave this battle to God and accept her peace offering. David did just that, and as Abigail declared, God avenged David and his men. 10 days later, God struck down Nabal. Abigail was a wise woman who acted promptly and saved her wicked husband and his men from David's hands. She didn't allow fear to keep her quiet. She had no idea how David would have responded, but she set out in faith and it worked out for her. As such, Abigail's life changed for the better. David returned the kindness she showed him and his men after Nabal's death by asking her to be his wife. So no longer was she tied to a wicked and selfish man. Her courage, faith, and wisdom made room for her, and not just room with anyone, but with the future king of Israel. This is a reminder to us to never allow fear or our situation to keep us from doing what is honorable and good. It is a reminder that no matter how insignificant we think we are, that we can enact change and even save lives. This is a reminder to us that God can use anyone. This is a reminder to us that humility and wisdom can change our lives in ways we can't fathom. And finally, this is a reminder to us that acts of kindness, no matter how small, are always seen by God, and He will reward us. So even though Abigail is only mentioned in one chapter in the Bible, her impact is great. Her story is encouraging, and she will always be a great example of strength, courage, and wisdom to not just women, but to all. Shalom, shalom.